Hey everybody, happy Monday. Can barely speak anymore. But today I am going to be doing, I was thinking, maybe it's getting nice out. We're starting to, run a little bit more outside, start walking. Or if you've increased your program, you're starting to notice you're getting like outside of the thigh, like IT band, lateral knee, outside of the knee, outside of the hip issues. It could be IT band is a common compensatory area. I don't think off the top of my head I've treated anybody that had a tight IT band and didn't have weakness in their glutes. So commonly they go together, and if you're just rolling out your IT band, stretching your IT band, it might still continue to come back because you're not correcting that imbalance. Today I'm just going to give you a couple exercises to, if you're feeling some of that discomfort, it's mild. Maybe if you get on it right away, you kind of flush it right out. Also, if you've done a longer run or a longer strength program and you're feeling like a little bit, here's some, recovery kind of exercises that you can do along with rolling the area. I will say this can be a longer conversation if it kind of sticks around. These are things just to you're starting to feel it, see if you can get yourself out of it right away. So, mobility exercises, quad stretch. So a lot of times, the outside of your quad kind of feeds into your IT band, and if that is tight, it puts added stress and strain on the IT band, and can make it more taut. So we want to release some of that outside of the quad to release some of that pull on the IT band. Same thing with the outside of the hamstring. It feeds into the posterior back part of that IT band, and it can pull on the IT, again putting more tension on it. So we want to release that lateral hamstring, release some of that quad, and the IT band is a dense piece of connective tissue. So if anything's pulling on it, it's only going to make it more likely to be tight and then contribute to this taut and contribute to some discomfort. So we want to make sure that we're releasing those areas around the area, and then we're strengthening glutes. So I've done a lot on glute med, proper alignment at the knee when the knee drops in. So if we're in this alignment, adductor, but then definitely IT band is doing a lot more work. And if you're running, jumping, and you're landing like this, that IT band is just getting loaded repetitively, so it gets tight. So alignment, glute med, glute max, core strengthening, super important. And then I'll give you a couple mobility exercises also. So first thing we're going to do is we'll start dynamic just to kind of keep warming up. Core is engaged, so you're not arching your back. Do 5 more on each side. You should feel this in the front of your thigh and down a little bit in that quad area. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll do 2 holding for a little bit of a longer hold. So it's going to challenge balance. So if you need to, kind of fingertip support, hold on. Or if you want to challenge balance, you're going to hold, say 15 to 20 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you want to make sure that that knee isn't in front of you. You want to try to keep core engaged and bring it, I'm tight, but you want to try to keep that knee back as much as you can. So we'll say that's where we want to be. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now we'll do 1 more on the other side. So core is engaged. 1, 2. You can bring the arm up if you want. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So dynamic one, more before you start to work out. You can also be used for afterwards too, especially if you feel really tight. A lot of times what I'll have you do is people have a hard time getting their foot up. I might have them just go in and out of it, kind of work some of that pliability before going into a longer hold. All right, so the next one, this is gonna be a little bit of a warm up for one that we're gonna do on the floor. So core is engaged. You're gonna reach up and over to feel. So IT band comes up, feeds into TFL, muscle on the outside of the hip there. Again, commonly gets overused or tends to compensate for weakness in glute or a breakdown in alignment at the leg. So cores engaged, hip, knee, and ankle, pelvis area. So cores engaged, you're gonna reach up, so the leg that's behind is the arm that's reaching up. You're gonna uncross, reach up, and this one's dynamic, so you're gonna kind of keep moving in and out. So again, dynamic, typically done before versus more static stretching before, so dynamic before workout, and then you can also do it as part of a cool down afterwards because you're moving. So it's a less intense version, or it's less intense movement than probably what you were doing with your exercise. We'll do 3 more on each side. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to do, this is more of a static stretch. So I would say don't do this as the first thing that you do in the morning. You know, get up, walk around, move around, do your dynamic stretches first. Go for a walk that is tolerable, or it's something to do after a workout. You know, static stretching, it's kind of, but I think, you know, it has its place sometimes that if you use it correctly, it can be helpful, but the point behind that is making sure the tissue is pliable when you're going to stretch it. If it's stiff, again, you can pull around the area that's stiff and not actually make much of a difference, and probably put more strain and stress at the tendons or the areas around it because you're pulling so much through there, and then you have these spots that are kind of still stuck. That's where the rolling, and another thing is you can roll it first, make it more pliable, and then do this kind of a stretch. So I'm using a towel, so I'm still kind of showing you things that you could use around your house. You can use dog leash, or if you have it like a yoga stretch strap, that works obviously awesome also. A lot of people say that about bands. The only thing with the bands is they give, so it might not be as firm to feel the stretch. So back staying flat, so you don't want your arch back because you can jam your hip up. Slight bend in the knee. You're going to come up, and you can make this dynamic also, which I have done. Like for the first 3, hold 5 seconds in each spot, and then you will come back down, and then come back up. So I'm not crazy about that, but in terms of taking the towel out, 5, 5, 5, 5, and I could definitely feel it, especially as you go across your body. You can feel all the way down, depending on where you feel tight. You might only feel it up here to start. You might only feel it in the calf. I like kind of moving in and out of it first, again, to kind of warm the tissue up. And then this towel obviously isn't long enough, but I would want you to come down in between each stretch. So you're going to hold there for, now we're going to hold a little bit longer. We'll say 10 to 15 seconds. And then I'll let it come back down, and we'll do 2 more. And the towel or the strap you want underneath the joints of, like, right where your toes are. It should give you some leverage to pull back that foot to increase the stretch. So I will say this, I don't want you to feel this primarily in your groin. If you do, or if I had people that did, I would change the stretch. If I was fixing the stretch and that's all they were feeling, that's not the primary area that you want to feel. You want to feel it back here. If that's not primarily what you're getting, then it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Also, like I said, if your back's arched, more likely to close off the front of your hip and make it more likely to impinge as you're coming across. So keeping that back flat, like everything that we've been talking about, really important here too, to clear some space for the hip. We'll do 1 more. And you can play with this range over here. You can lower it, you can pull it back up. Usually as you pull back up, you're going to feel that stretch a little bit more. All right. And then you would do both sides. So I'm just going to show you 2 glute exercises because I think it's important just to refresh. So Core's engaged, toes are pointed down. You don't want toes to rotate up because you're more likely to use piriformis and then into that IT band. So core's engaged, lifting the leg up behind the line of your hip here, but not letting your pelvis move. Still keeping that core engaged to keep that stable base. Toes are down. 1, we'll do 20 on each side. 2, and if you're doing it correctly, you should feel it. Outer glute here, glute med. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can take your hand and massage that area if it's feeling sore after doing that or tight. I'll do that a lot, kind of flush it out right away. Core's engaged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Core's engaged. 1, always doing things both sides. Keep pelvis stable. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I will say sometimes when IT band is really tight and at the point where it's bothering you, usually your body just uses that muscle to try to get the movement done. So you have to sometimes override that, and you want to think about squeezing your butt as you're doing it to override that overuse of your IT band because it's just gotten in that patterning. So you want to try to break that patterning by activating that glute, send the signal to the right muscle to fire. All right, now we got bridges. Core's engaged, back's flat, pressing up through your heels, pulling your pelvis back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, squeeze glutes here. A lot of times hamstring wants to take over, so you're making sure you activate glutes as you're going up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can go down in between each one too. And then I'm going to show you rolling. So you can use, if you have the big foam roller, you can definitely use that also. I've just found that kind of fairly across the board, I feel like people like this. I feel like it ends up being more convenient to kind of bring with you, have with you because it's smaller versus that big foam roller. But foam roller definitely works for IT band. The thing I will say, if it's really irritated, sometimes doing the foam roller is almost so intense that you can't like fully relax into it. So it's hard to use and get anything out of it because you almost have to desensitize the area first, and then once you desensitize it, then you might get more out of that roller. Everybody's different. Some people are like, no, I want that roller. I want to really feel that. So depends on, kind of who you are and if you've already used the roller before. But generally, like I said, across the board, I feel like this works. It looks like it wouldn't be as effective, because it doesn't look as big and as scary, but it really does make a difference. So I use it a lot. And I also kind of work, if I don't have this with me, massage to like take your fingers and kind of let your fingers work into that area that feels tight. And also if you have shorts on, if you want to be on the skin, take your fingers and you kind of pull quad off of that IT band to like stabilize with the one hand and pull apart the tissue. So it's almost like a little bit of a myofascial release where you're trying to pull some of that quad or that hamstring coming in the back now off of that IT band. And then you're taking your fingers, kind of work into that IT band just to make it a little bit more pliable. But anyway, here's another way, because that can be bothersome to people's hands. So again, this takes the hands out of it and takes some stress off the hands. So quad, like we said before, a lot of times gets tight, feeds into the IT band, so we want to make sure that we're keeping that extensible also. A lot of times, again, we lose some of that core control, it gets jammed up by the knee. So I tend to focus by the knee, and then work my way up. If you find an area that feels like, ooh, that feels like kind of tight or it hurts, that kind of suggests that it's an area of restriction. And you can spend, 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how tight you are. If you're just getting started and it's like really tight, you might need that 5 minutes, even twice a day. I would say a little bit before the workout, a little bit after, even if you just do 2 or 3 minutes before and after, so you get your, 4 to 6 minutes kind of a thing. And then once it becomes manageable, it might be something that, you do for a couple minutes after workout just to flush it out, but it's not, too much of an issue. You're just kind of managing it so that it doesn't become an issue as you keep going. And then come under here again, like we said, outside of the hamstring, back part of that IT band, making sure that we're getting every part of it. And then mid muscle belly of the hamstring, down by the knee, a little bit of adductor. Again, adductor, IT band, that alignment can get tight together. I will say that adductor up by the groin area, sometimes rolling it, people don't really like that. Kind of using your hand in that groin, upper adductor area can be a little bit more comfortable. But down by the knee, this can certainly be effective. And again, if this is all stuck here, it's pulling all the attachments up higher around the pelvis. So you want to free some of this up to take some of that downward strain off. It's probably a longer conversation, but in short, that's how I would describe it. And then you can also get, okay, so once you have an area that's compensating, like IT band, that tells me, okay, somebody's IT band is hurting them. There could be compensation the whole way. So you're kind of flushing out all these kind of areas that can go together. All right, and then do glute too. This way. So I'm behind, getting that glute, outer glute here. Piriformis area. And then QL here too, can pull in the pelvis, especially if glute med's not firing well, it wants to hike the hip because that glute's not firing well. Or if pelvis gets rotated forward, it shortens up the QL, so we're just kind of flushing that out also. You're not going on any bony prominences, it's all soft tissue here, and if it hurts in a bad way, then something's off. I will say this, you will feel this, but it should feel like, oh, it's kind of like a good hurt. And then you can always do both sides. And you can also do the rolling standing up too. And then get like upper hamstring area. It's a little easier to get upper hamstring when you're standing. You could come back this way on your glute also. One other way for piriformis, take like a golf ball, tennis ball, massage ball. Let's see, I'll do it this way. And pillow or towel between your knees, and you're kind of taking that ball. So it should be a little bit of a harder ball so it can get in there. And that piriformis runs right along like sacrum. You want to feel for the bone come off the bone, and that's in that area where it can kind of get jammed up or stuck on the bone there. So you're on soft tissue, and you can even use your hands if it's comfortable for you. Like I said, sometimes that bothers people's hands. If so, you could use golf ball, racquetball works. People really like a racquetball. And then you're just kind of massaging that glute area. Tennis ball is probably a little bit too soft for that area, so a harder ball sometimes can be more effective. All right, so that is some tips on if you have some IT band, lateral knee, outside of the knee, outside of the hip issues. Any questions, just let me know. Have a great day.